Following the deadly January 6th Capitol insurrection, conservative pundits have either downplayed the damage or that had happened to the Capitol or the attack itself, or they've begun blaming others for this, mainly Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Oh, well, okay, well, that's interesting. That's very interesting. So now this event, of course, ended up leaving hundreds of people injured, as well as 6 people. 6 people ended up dying, 2 from suicide. 1 police officer was beaten to death, as well as you had 1 woman, one of the insurrectionists, who was shot by a police officer. So now the blaming, though, of this person, Ashley Babbitt, for example, who was a victim of this, who did, participate in this riot. Well, apparently she, according to these conservative pundits, was secret Antifa all along. Antifa all along. You the Agatha all along music. I have been watching a lot of WandaVision. Sorry. Good show. So now this secret Antifa conspiracy that's going wrong, the right wing, that's got a lot of the actual insurrectionists that are pretty pissed off about it. One of them is Jose Padilla. Now, Jose Padilla faces several charges, including felony counts of obstruction of law enforcement during a civil disorder and assault on a law enforcement officer with a deadly or dangerous weapon. Federal officials say he pushed up against the police line while wearing a scuba mask and shoved officers trying to stop the pro-Trump mob from storming the Capitol. He also helped rioters use a giant metal-framed Trump sign as a battering ram against officers on the police line and threw a flagpole at officers trying to keep the mob out of the building. So obviously, very violent, very dangerous, kind of unhinged, but worst of all, he seems to be pretty proud of it. Proud of course, doing violence based on an unhinged conspiracy theory, but worst of all, again, just proud of it. And so when you're proud of something that you've done, you're going to go, if you're one of these people, and brag online, which I'm assuming has something to do with why he was caught in the first place. Just saying. All right. So now, Padilla first then went to the website, thedonald.win. Ironic name, right? Which was created after the subreddit r/the_Donald was placed in restricted mode last year, as well as to Facebook, because of course, to brag about his actions on that day to his friends. Now, look, I say Facebook, of course, because let's be honest, Facebook has been taken over largely by conservatives. I love you all on Facebook, but progressives are fairly outnumbered there, I believe. And so that's why I say that. So he goes to openly brag on Facebook as well as other places on the internet about this. And here's what he said, quote, "There's a lot of memes and posts flying around saying the people who were fighting last night were all Antifa provocateurs, etc. I just want to say that as a first-hand observer," he says he's an observer, "of every point of last night, that it was not Antifa. They were patriots who were trying to restore the republic after being attacked by the cops who struck first." After they let you in. It's curious that you would say that. Oh, you know what, though? You know what else is curious? That sounds a lot like something an Antifa person would write. You know what I'm saying? He continues. Even those who broke the windows next to the doorway of the Capitol were patriots trying to find a way to turn the flanks to the cops. The patriots. Patriots. Now, on the online forum, thedonald.win, Padilla also wrote about his involvement in the attack, saying that he pushed the rails, pushed the stairs, and pushed the doorway. Quote, "I was beaten unconscious twice, sprayed more times than I care to count, received strikes from batons that should have been lethal, multiple temple and carotid strikes, except that God was on my side." Okay, look. Here's the thing. All right. Is he like some sort of superhuman? Or maybe is the kind of lying and embellishing just a little bit? "Well, I was beaten several times, but I got up by the grace of God. You know, like I got up and I started fighting again." What? "The Spirit of Jesus, you don't understand. Spirit of Jesus cast rays on me or revive. I got hit with a revive spell from Jesus because he can do that. And then I'm back in the fight, guys. I'm back in the fight. No, no. Again, don't get me wrong. It was a dangerous situation. People did get hurt. People died. Okay. I'm not minimizing the danger here. All right. But again, this feels like slight embellishment. Like, look at me. I'm the Patriots patriot. I'm the best. Come on. I'm just saying. All right. Anyway, now Padilla had been continuing to correct the record about the Antifa, right? Here's what he said. Honestly, the guy breaking the windows weren't Antifa. They were patriots trying to find a new way so we could flank the cops who were holding the doorway. But again, he's not the only person who corroborated the accounts, right? And who said, no, it's not Antifa. It's all of us. We did it. We're Trump supporters and we were proud of it. So now, here's another one, Jonathan Mellis, who told his friends on Facebook, quote, "Don't you dare to try to tell me that people are blaming this on Antifa and BLM. We proudly take responsibility for storming the castle. Antifa and BLM are too pussy. We are fighting for election integrity. They hurt us." Oh, they sure did. Yep. Another one. This is Ryan Nichols, another insurrectionist. "Listen up. I hear so many reports of Antifa was stormed from the Capitol building. Know that every single person who believes that narrative has been duped again." Ironic. Oh, God, ironic. "Sure, there may have been some Antifa in D.C., but there wasn't enough to storm the Capitol themselves." Another person, Brandon Straka, a Stop the Steal organizer with ties to Trump, who was charged last month. Here's what he said. "It was not Antifa at the Capitol. It was freedom-loving patriots who were desperate to fight for the final hope of our republic because literally nobody cares about them. Everyone can denounce them. I will not." Nobody cares. Oh my God. You notice how like they call themselves silent generation, right? And I'm sure that has to do with like more of, in actuality, like an actual demographic, the demographic that voted for Trump overwhelmingly. But again, they all call themselves silent or oppressed or repressed for some reason. They're not. They're not repressed. They're the loudest motherfuckers in the room. I mean, you can't swing at that cat without hitting like a Trump supporter that's screaming about how uncool and unfair society is today because they have to use a gender pronoun. They don't shut up. They never shut up. And here's the thing. We got two political parties that bend, especially one political party that definitely is them, bows to everything they say, and another political party that's like, oh man, we should really reach out to Trump supporters. What are you talking about? They're not a majority of the country. They're a tiny, shrieking minority. But they're so, you know what? You've all heard the saying, the squeaky wheel gets grease, right? Well, they've gotten all the grease. All of it. Because they're so goddamn loud. They won't ever shut up. And so, yes, everybody cares too much about them. You know why? Because the people in the crowd, they were not, understand that there is this narrative going around that they were, they're working class folks, right? They're not. People there, business owners, police officers, ex-military, okay? And, you know, people with $300 million, okay? Private jets. These are the people that stormed the Capitol that day. All right. This is not a working class revolt. No, the working class is too busy trying to survive through coronavirus because we weren't getting any help. But this was not about $2,000 stimmy checks. Okay. This wasn't about being forgotten. No. Everybody knows who they are and caters endlessly to them. And it is frustrating. It is incredibly frustrating. So, okay. Anyway, moving on. So now this is funny because, again, that conspiracy is going around. It's been spread by Donald Trump, who said, I heard Antifa was in the crowd, right? You also had numerous pro-Trump politicians. I think it was Ron Johnson that had floated this conspiracy in Congress as well. Oh, I heard it was Antifa that was there. And then, of course, you had right-wing media figures that are saying the same thing. But what's interesting is that those people were also egging on the crowd, inciting for months and months and months people to go out to the Capitol and overturn the results of an election. But now they're like, that must have been Antifa. Come on. And here's the thing. It's funny because they're throwing every single one of these, I like to call them true believers, under the bus. I mean, they really are, because number one, all these people that have been spreading, that are now talking about how it's Antifa, they knew the truth and they lied shamelessly, right? And number two, they don't actually give one shit about the people that follow them. And they know that they can use them to blame the people that they don't like, BLM and Antifa. It is true. And for all the true believers, understand this. They don't like you. They despise you. You're nothing more than a mark, a patsy, a useful idiot to these people. Look at how fast they turned on you. On a dime. And yet you think you're some sort of patriot if you're part of this group, if you storm the Capitol. In reality, you're the opposite. Try to stop a legitimate election because you believe in conspiracy theories that they knew were false. And they continue to spread because they wanted you mad, they wanted you angry, and they didn't want you using your brain, your critical thinking skills. And now, ironically, you have become part of a conspiracy, their conspiracy. As far as MAGA is concerned, you are dead to them. Because you, who put yourself on the line, put your body in the line because you felt like you were doing the right thing, now to them, you're secret Antifa. It would be sad if this literally were not so dangerous. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.